Alright. So happy International Women's Day. I'm a day late, and who knows when this will be uploaded, so happy day. Happy day. So I'm gonna just right off the bat start with my spiel. I might forget a lot of things I wanted to say, but don't I always. So a Women's Day. Surprisingly enough, just the concept of celebrating women is controversial. Huh, who would have thunk it? And, yeah, a lot of people, they don't like the idea of women. No, they do. They love the idea of women. Yeah, women, you can motorboat them, you can... But a lot of people don't like feminism. A lot of women don't like feminism. And here is my reasoning on why I love feminism. Well, not really why I love feminism, but why I need it. And why you can never tell me, Anita, don't be a feminist. Like, so I'm gonna start out by saying, of the people, right-wingers, and also some people who are like, oh yeah, I'm all for all these social changes, but I don't like feminism. And I can see why you wouldn't like feminism when a lot of mainstream feminism is white feminism, where it's not intersectional and it's very just not helpful to women of color and queer women, trans women, all that. So there's that. But so of the people who don't like feminism, I've seen some of them pull up all these statistics like pie charts and all that of like, oh, well, why do we need feminism? Women, there's no laws saying that women can't do certain jobs. True. But how do those laws come into place, right? How? And they're also saying like, men have a high rate of suicide, men have a high rate of homelessness. And to that I say, what are you doing about it? You cannot just take these people just to bash women. You cannot just use them as an example, as your little like toy to say, oh well look, they had it bad too, and now we're just not gonna think about them. Now we're gonna just treat them like dirt, as we always do. Like, how can you say that? How can you use them as an example when you are not helping them, when you are actually making their lives worse at the moment? Because like, there's like people putting up spikes in places so homeless people can't like sleep there. They're taking away free and reduced school lunches. Okay, that's why? They are taking away healthcare, and it's just all these things. You cannot just use male like struggles just as your example to bash women, because that helps no one. Because obviously you're not helping them. And of those people, of those men who are homeless, how many of them do you think are LGBTQ? How many of them who are committing suicide? And I've also read, and like, again, I'm not, like, if that was backed up, I don't know if any of this is substantiated, but you don't know how many people have attempted suicide, right? You just know the number of people who actually have. And maybe that's because more men would use a gun, and that's quicker, and while more women would like overdose or something, and that has like, you could save them maybe. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, you can't just use men's struggles and also male victims of rape. What are you doing to help them? Right? And just because it's a higher percentage doesn't mean that women don't face those things too. Maybe in a more violent manner. Maybe a man who's homeless did it because, I don't know, other circumstances, and maybe the woman's circumstances, but that she was like beaten and kicked out of her house, or maybe she fled an abusive husband, maybe a man fled an abusive wife. Who knows? But you can't just use a number you can't quantify these things. Everyone's story is unique. And you cannot erase history. Part of the people who say we don't need feminism, a lot of them are women. And a lot of these women have a platform. They are able to go on like news, Facebook, all that junk, and they could just say it. And they're like, oh, we don't need feminism. Get over yourselves. You're so entitled, damn it. shut up. I'm sorry, if you don't believe in feminism and you are a woman, you cannot speak on these platforms. How do you think you got to speak onto these platforms? I ask you. You cannot just erase history, right? Because where we are today, we would not have gotten where we are today if it weren't for history. You cannot just say, okay, clean slate, because there are after effects and there are systems still in place that were created back then, that were influenced from back then. And if it weren't for the work of feminists who ostracized themselves, who became pariahs just so you could speak, and then say, oh, we don't need feminism. It's really hypocritical. Hypocrisy, you notice, is a theme here, yeah? And then they always try to play oppression Olympics. They're like, well, women in America who are fighting for feminism, they don't know what it's like to actually struggle, and they don't care about the women in Iran and stuff. Do you? Are you helping? And also, I'm a poor student, right? I'm not even 18 yet. And I've noticed the effects of misogyny. Shocker. And I would love to help out women. I donate money when I can, all right? But some of that money, I have to invest it into my future sometimes, right? And food. And I don't know, we're only doing as much as we can here. But the best thing you can do, I guess, is send money and raise awareness and stuff. But you're not doing anything. Why are you mad at us for wanting something better for ourselves? And then you're like, well, you're not caring about these women. Are you caring about those women? I think not. You're not allowing them access into our country where they can flee their oppressors. Hypocrisy in action. And so those are just some counter arguments that I have, right? Women aren't infallible. And I understand that. And I understand there are some leftists who just take things out of control. And again, they don't speak for the whole group. But then you can't say, oh, well, because these people are going bananas, you can't say that anyone who opposes injustice is irrational, right? Just because you don't experience something like oppression or abuse doesn't mean it doesn't happen. That's also my beef with people using triggered. I'm maybe if you haven't experienced trauma and you've never been actually triggered, you don't think it's bad to just throw that word around like a joke. But some people actually have faced trauma. Wow, what? Huh? And I've gone so long without having to think back to what I was saying. Oh my gosh. But hypocrisy, and then infallible women. Yeah, because women, we can be creeps, we can be pervs. It doesn't mean we should be. It doesn't mean anyone should be. Yeah, but when people try to say, oh, women aren't perfect, they never talk about the women who are spewing hate against feminism or against the queer community, against people of color. They don't ever say those women are fallible. They just say we are. So thanks for that. But now into personal matters. Why do I personally need feminism? Why do I advocate for it? Yeah? Well, believe it or not, things have happened to me that are just the result of me being a girl. Things that are unpleasant. I am a victim of childhood sexual abuse by my own father. What? And for a long time, I would only tell close friends, and but it's my story to tell, and I'll tell it right now because it's relevant. No one can tell me, Anita, shh, don't talk about that. It didn't happen to you, it happened to me, so I'll say what I need to say about my own story, about no one else's. And what happened to me would not have happened if I were a boy. How do I know this? Because it didn't happen to my brothers. It did not. My brothers still don't believe me when I say that it's something that happened to me. But it did. And after that, and so that happened when I was young, like before I hit puberty, yeah. And then like middle school, I'm still, it's always, my psyche's been kind of changed forever, right, because of it. And we were in middle school, and there were people from like, I don't know, DV SAS or something coming in, and they were like, what could be an after effect of being like sexually assaulted? And then I didn't really know what feminism was, right? I thought it was misandry. And I was like, I raised my hand. I didn't think it was misandry, but I thought that was kind of part of it. But I raised my hand, and I'm like, they could become feminists. And I kind of said that as if like, oh, they could become feminists. But then she's like, is that a bad thing? No, you become feminist. How can you tell me somebody who has been used, my worth has been taken from me, like in that moment. I was a toy. How can you tell me I don't deserve this agency? I don't deserve, like, not agency, like agency, like I don't deserve this like kind of freedom and self-expression. Like, what? Tell me why I don't deserve that. Tell me why I should not care about women's rights when injustices are still being happening, are still happening. And like, I still can't believe that we basically gave Lord Dampnut, thank you Colin Mockery for that anagram, it's my favorite thing in the world. We still give him a pass. Why didn't everyone just like shut down immediately when he made the comment about his infant daughter, when he's like, oh gosh, she has the legs of my wife. We don't know if she's gonna get this anytime soon. Justify that. Justify that. You can't, okay, you can't locker room talk your way out of this one. You cannot. And if you say, oh yeah, men, they always talk about their daughters. Stay away from me. Stay away from society if you defend this, right? And like the victim blaming. How are people surprised that he'd be accused of sexual assault after everything he's done, right? It's so... That's why I need feminism, right? Because people are still gonna believe him when he says, I respect all women. People are still gonna call feminists angry men haters. They're gonna... I hate it. You can't take this away from me. And I will not stop being a feminist. And I will not stop using my privilege that I have in order to like help those who don't have the same like voice as me, who could like, I'm just gonna pass the microphone to them, you know, like. So that's basically my spiel. Spielberg. Yeah, that's why I need feminism. It's because the fighting isn't over. And even if it were, you cannot erase history. You cannot say, oh, well, now that they did all the work, I'll just reap the benefits and pay them no mind. It's very, yeah. But thank you so much for listening. Yeah. Like, just be more understanding of, think why a woman would become a feminist. Think why a man would become a feminist, you know? And look up feminism in the dictionary if you're still lost. But yeah, thank you for listening, and hopefully I didn't, I don't know, make an idiot out of myself by divulging in my personal life. But thank you, and happy few days after Women's Day. Thank you.